here. Now recently TC Electronic contacted me to ask if I'd like to take a look at some of their more recent pedals. Now obviously I agreed. I quite like what TC are doing and they're producing some really interesting stuff that's packed full of technological wizardry. So let's get into the first pedal that they sent through. This is the Helix Phaser. Now, honestly, phaser's not an effect that I'm particularly familiar with. I do have a Boss phase shifter that I wasn't really a fan of, and I lent it to a friend so I could have a shot of it, and I've never seen it since.
I know where you live, Chris Graham.
I'm not much of a modulation user in general, so I'll be looking at the Helix as more of a novice rather than a modulation snob. Aside from TC Electronics' standard features such as true bypass and true to tone and all those good things, this has 3 settings for you to enjoy: vintage, smooth, and TonePrint, which we'll get into a lot more depth later on. Now, vintage gets you that classic gritty phase sound that sits well under distortion, setting the speed low, and you can really fatten up rhythm tones or make your leads pop out. Higher speed settings throb away beautifully, and you'll even be able to coax out some rotary speaker style sounds. Smooth has a lot more of that modern wow style sound, exceptionally good on cleans, and you can even get some very extreme effects. Also very cool for doing some funk lines. Perhaps it's just my inexperience with this kind of effect, but neither of those settings are particularly setting my balls on fire. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are very, very nice and exceptionally good at their respective styles. But the only problem is it's nothing that I haven't really heard before elsewhere, although exceptionally well done in this pedal. But what really carries the Helix is the TonePrint stuff, and if you've never used a TonePrint pedal from TC before, then there's a database of settings and parameters that you can load into the pedal to get different sounds. In that database there's a whole range of artist created effects, and TC often have videos up on their YouTube channel or on their website showing the creation of these sounds and the artist's thought processes behind them. Very interesting stuff to watch. Now, getting these TonePrints onto the pedals is really easy. If you have an Android or iOS smartphone, you can beam the TonePrints directly from the app through the guitar's pickups and into the pedal.
Black magic, occult wizardry.
Alternatively, if you want to create your own sounds, then the pedal comes with its own USB cable that can be connected to your PC or Mac, and you can use the TonePrint editor software to pretty much control any of these parameters, any of these knobs, and set them to do whatever you want. Now, once you get your head around what all the settings parameters are and what they actually do in relation to the pedal, then it's actually pretty intuitive to set up your own sounds. But if you're not familiar with the technical aspects of how these pedals work, then it could be quite easy to get lost in this software. In this TonePrint, I've adapted the speed control so it's slowest when it's dead centre. Turning it left increases the speed of a vintage reverse phase sound, and turning it right gives a more modern but more prominent phase sound with a higher modulation speed. It's this sort of repurposing and dual purposing of the controls that makes the TonePrint editor an absolute goldmine for getting sounds. You can have it set so that the depth of the feedback gain increases as you ramp up the speed, or you can repurpose one of the controls to sweep between different phase styles, so you can go essentially from a vintage modern on one knob, or if 4 knobs is far too many to keep track of, you could just lock them out entirely and have everything controlled from the one. This has allowed me to create some really unique sounds in the Helix and control them in ways that you'd never get in any off-the-shelf stomp box. So for me, the TonePrint stuff really sells this pedal. For what I do, I want to create some unique sounds for the different types of music I play, and the TonePrint editor more than delivers here, showing that there's more potential in this pedal than the stock settings imply. Perhaps if you're more of the mindset that you want some classic and established phase sounds, then the vintage and smooth settings on here will hold some more interest for you. Certainly they're a great way of getting these sounds without having to shell out a lot of money for vintage gear, and you won't have to deal with the noise problems inherent in older pedals. Now, if you're in the market for a phaser or are looking to upgrade your old one and you want something with a great range of sounds or the ability to really craft your own, then this is certainly something worth looking at. Now, if you like this video and want to see more TC electronic products reviewed here, including this Sentry Noisegate, which absolutely kills any other Noisegate on the market, then you might want to think about subscribing. You'll see all the content that I'm bringing out in the future that way. I'm also available on all the social media, and you can leave a comment in the comment section below if you want to talk to me. But for now, I think that's everything I've got to say. So keep it loud, and I'll see you later.